Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS3 review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Fairytale Fights, which doesn't actually have a start screen. It just pretty much kicks you straight into the World Hub, which is where I am now. So I'll start with what the World Hub is. Basically it's the usual type of hub really. You can view your statistics, how many weapons you've collected, used, etc. How many enemies you've killed, stuff like that. You can upgrade your statue with money that you've bought because you're supposed to be upgrading your statue. And then you can just pretty much play the game. So I'm just going to cut into actually playing the game now. So this is some basic gameplay. I've actually started, to be fair, on a boss just for the hell of it, just simply because I had one there set up and I wanted to be able to show a boss off. And the bosses are pretty cool. It's standard boss fights really, almost as if you were playing a platformer. So to be fair, not really standard boss fights for this style of game, but still it's the type of thing that if you played a lot of games over the years, then you're going to recognise the boss fight style. So anyway, that's basically that. And the whole point of this is just have to kick the crap out of the boss, avoid his attacks, etc. So, seeing as that was a boss, and that's pretty much all there is to really be said about him, I'm going to cut into one of the actual levels. So, onto the actual gameplay, and to be fair, onto describing what the game is. First up, to be fair, I might as well mention, because I've just had one, there's cutscenes on the game. The cutscenes aren't exactly brilliant, at least I don't think so, and unfortunately they can't be skipped. But it's one of those, it's a budget game, so you can tell where basically the cut costs, really, I suppose. It is still a very fun game, and I do like the game, and after playing the demo I knew I just had to get it, and the game hasn't disappointed. But there are a few flaws, because as I say, it is a budget game, so you've got things like the camera can be a little awkward, and sometimes you can be fighting enemies completely off screen. There's bits where you'll be trying to collect something and it just won't let you collect it, either pick it up or walk into it or anything, it just won't let you get it for some unknown reason. And speaking of the cutscenes, this is one here, and it'll introduce the bad guys in the cutscenes and that, which all the bad guys have stupid and very similar names, to be fair, for a point, because I mean all the lumberjacks are lumber something, so there's like Lumber Bob, Lumber Ben, etc. And basically, as I say, you can't skip them, so if this takes any longer I'll have to cut into it, but thankfully that was it done. So, as I say, budget game, there are a few things wrong with it, but let's go on to the things that are right with it. First up, there's the combat. You work the combat in a pretty cool way. It's basically the right analog is your attacks all the time, and it's not a case of pointing in the direction, it's a case of you facing a direction with the left analog, and you can push the right analog in any direction you want, and you can push it in all sorts of different ways to build up combos, because there's all sorts of combos built into the game. There's then weapons that you can use, and there's all sorts of daft weapons and real weapons, so there's things like wooden chainsaws, which obviously aren't real because they're made of wood, but then you've got axes, proper lumberjack axes and stuff like that. You've got what I'm fighting with at the moment is a carrot. You can also do special attacks, which I'll just do that over here. Basically, when you attack meter on the... Well, looking at the top left of the screen, you've got the pink, which is your health, and you've got the yellow. That's basically your proper mega attack meter type thing. You've got to build it up by kicking the crap out of them, then you can use that by pushing R2 and pulling off a devastating attack. Each weapon has different attacks, although a lot of them can be very similar. For example, a lot of the swords are just identical, but things like the bassoon basically fires out like a machine gun, and it's incredibly cool and incredibly powerful, and just basically use it wisely and use it against big bosses. But apart from the special attacks and normal attacks, the weapons are just pretty much there, and even though there's some weak ones, it's always a good idea to get a weapon, because your bare fists are terrible. But there's over like 140 weapons, I think it is, so there's plenty to choose from in the game. And speaking of some other game things about it, I might as well mention that there's 20 levels on it, and that you can have 4-player co-op offline and online. Finally someone does local co-op. It takes a budget game to be able to do it, so why can't all these games that you're paying 50-60 quid for now do it as well, you know? But anyway, it does have the local co-op feature, which is good for myself and my brothers, because we all like to play against each other and with each other, even though it does often lead to fights, especially on games like this. As you might have noticed, there's a lot of treasure chests all over the place, and basically the treasure chests will give you treasure, and when you die you lose large amounts of that treasure, so you really want to avoid dying. There's then sections where you've both got well, I see both, there's only 2 of us on the screen at the moment, where you've all got to do the same thing, otherwise it won't let you advance, so it might just be a case of standing in the same place. There's then this magic mirror that basically gives you useless hints and tips on that. And then there's scenes like this. This is one of them where the camera can come in a bit annoying, because you can't move the camera, and if you fall into the water, it's an automatic death. So you've got to make sure you get your jumping right, and there's even more evil sections than that pretty early on in the game as well. There's parts where you're jumping from chainsaw blade to chainsaw blade, and it's just evil. It can take ages. There's parts with rolling logs, which I personally found an incredibly hard time getting past them. But while there are some parts like that that's evil, it's the type of thing that they're never too evil, and it's never the type of thing that you think, oh, it's just too hard. At least I don't, but then again, I like hard games. As you might have noticed, there's also a kill cam, and the kill cam basically comes up when you use the R2s there, but you can also set it to come on pretty much at any kill. I personally find that so irritating, it's unbelievable, because it basically takes up the entire screen, especially when there's more of you killing at the same time. Just with 2 of us on, it was taking up over half the screen, so I'd hate to think what it's like when all 4 of you are on. So I've personally set it off to only come on for the special attacks. You can just do that in the options. The options are very basic though. There's things like music and graphics, like, well, not graphics, like brightness and stuff like that, and that's literally about it. It's very, very basic options, but at least you can change that kill cam type thing, so I'm glad that they're there. So yeah, there's pretty much nothing left to really mention about the game, other than that if you can find it for cheap, and it's a budget game, so you should be able to. I mean, there's quite a few places selling it for £20, but unfortunately then there's a few places trying to sell it as if it's a full price game, so you have to be careful for that. So if you can find it for cheap, as I say, definitely get it, especially if you like playing with your mates, either offline or online, because while it's got a few bugs, it's still a very, very fun game, and there's some totally insane moments. I mean, hell, when's the last time you've ever saw Red Riding Hood and Snow White team up on a rampage of death, you know? So it's just one of those things, you'll probably have a bit of a laugh with it, and it'll also probably it'll probably like heal some sort of bloodthirst you've got going on if you've just finished Call of Duty and you feel the need to kill some things in video game form. So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.